Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Central Oregon Shenanigans. Today we're going to be working on the Absalute Customs rear bumper kit for your 92 to 97 F250, 350, or 92 to 96 F150 Bronco. What we've got here, if you want to see an unboxing video of this, it'll be at the end of this video on the end screens. There'll be the only video there. Click on that to go watch the unboxing video of this and come back and join us. We kind of go over some of the parts that we've got laid out on the table here, but we're going to also go over them again. If you are building this bumper, you're going to need a workbench set up like this one that I have here, that is set up on 2 sawhorses. It's leveled out, it's flat with a thick piece of wood down. This is actually subfloor, and you're going to need a metal work surface that is a minimum of 86 inches long by 24. This one's 96 by 24. I just went down to my local steel yard, had them cut a basically a 4 by 8 sheet in half for me. And at the end, after this whole build is done, we're going to put this on our actual workbench over there. So when you get everything out of the box, lay it out like this, put these 2 pieces. We're going to go over these 2 pieces and all the other parts on the table here very shortly. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, we have other projects on this channel, not just bumpers and stuff. We have a lot of other things on the channel, like that Ford Bronco behind me that we're working on. We have some OBS trucks as well. Check out some of our videos if you're tuning in for the first time, and hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Also, go check out the Fox shop. That's John Fox. He started helping me with these bumpers, and then he had to go home. We didn't get these done in time, so go check John Fox out over at the Fox shop. He'll have his sticker or a button at the end of the channel on the end screens with a little fox holding a wrench. You can also find him in the description below. If you're tuning in and you like what you see here with this bumper, you can buy one of these bumpers, Absalute Customs. His link is in the description below as well. Go check them out. There's also lift kits, suspension components, side steps, front grills. There's a lot of custom parts that he does for the OBS trucks, Super Duties, and I don't think he's doing anything for 70s Fords at the moment, but I could be wrong. But anyway, let's get on with this build. Alright guys, I am going to kind of make some names for these parts as we go, because I don't know what they're called, but we're going to have a right and we're going to have a left main section here. We're going to call these 2 pieces the main sections. We're going to have a license bracket piece is what I'm going to call this piece. It's a big piece of metal. You can see it's got 2 holes drilled out for license plates, and it's also got a spot for license plate light. You're going to have 2 end caps in your kit, a left and a right end cap for each side. Go ahead and lay those on each side so you can see those. And over here we're going to have some D-rings, 2 light buckets, some miscellaneous. There should be 4 miscellaneous pieces of metal. We'll go over that here after a while. The bottom piece to your bumper or / your license plate bracket. Set that right there. That'll go there. 2 mounting brackets for the bumper. And you should have a box full of goodies with 2 LED lights and some brackets and some hardware. And that should conclude the parts in your rear bumper kit from Absalute Customs. Now let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to set this up to weld it. We're not going to actually be doing, we're going to set these lights. We're not actually going to be welding it right off the bat. We're going to tack this bumper together just like we did the front one. He also makes front bumpers. Check that video out as well. We're not going to weld this all together at once. We are going to tack weld this together, make sure everything's in place, and then we'll go ahead and finally go over it and weld it solid. All right, guys? All right, let's go over the tools that you should have for this. One, you should have a welder. I'm using a Miller-Matic welder underneath there. I just got done doing some adjustments on the wire. I'm using flex core wire. My gas is not working at the moment, so we're using flex core wire. It is .035 flux core wire for this project. It's a Miller-Matic 135 welder. It's a bit small, but it does do the job for this bumper. It built the front one just fine. And tools you're gonna need. You're gonna need some C-clamps. I've got a variety of C-clamps here, some small ones, a medium size and a large C-clamp. You're gonna want a square. You're gonna want a persuasion tool if you've got to grab on and maneuver some stuff. I gotta find my other pair of vice grips. I've got these goofy pair of vice grips here, and I also have a few other normal pair of vice grips we're gonna be using for the project. You're gonna want a cutoff wheel. You're gonna want a slap disc. I'm using a 40 grit. These come in handy. These two to four of these magnet squares work really well. You're gonna want some gloves to handle these metal parts. These have sharp edges when they're stamped out. You're gonna need some welding gloves. You're gonna need a welding mask and a grinder. And I've got a wire brush on my grinder at the moment and a persuasion hammer. This one's an 8-pounder. And that should get you through building this rear bumper. If I left something out, I'll mention it throughout the video if I change my approach at all, but I don't think we're going to. I think that's what we're gonna need. Right off the bat, I noticed that my bumper came with a slight bend in it, so I got to figure out how to straighten that, and we'll get started on getting this bumper built. Alrighty guys, so with the two main, get your metal piece of workbench squared up on your table, and we're going to be using, and make sure that your workbench is a complete straight edge, which I know this one is. And what we're going to do on step one here is we're going to take your right half and your left, the two main halves here, and we're going to use 4 C-clamps, 1 on each end, 2 in the middle. Line that up on your straight edge and clamp it down to the table. And I will meet you in the next part, the next step. Alright guys, keep in mind we are building this bumper upside down, so first step you want to do, let's grab that license plate piece and put it in. Make sure these holes are on the bottom. Let's get it into place and then anchor it down with your 2 magnets. Should look like that. And let's go ahead and get your welder out and get it turned on and get it ready. Alrighty guys, this is what it should look like after you get done tacking. I had to put some thick tacks over here as well as over here. I already had to use some vice grips, get on this and bend these. This wasn't completely straight, so I had to bend the bumper to fit a little bit. Remember, we already had to bend this straight. I used an 8-pound hammer, beat this flat over here on the concrete. But we got some tacks in here. Now let's grab your top plate, or your license plate bottom piece here, the big thick piece you got in your kit. Go ahead and slide it into place here guys, and I'm gonna try to figure out where this exactly goes, and I'll catch you in a minute. Alright guys, so what I did is I just decided to make this flush. It's not gonna be actually flush, it's just gonna have a little bit, just a little bit sticking over, but it's you can measure from here to here as well. I've got it pretty much dead center. Let's go ahead and put a tack, couple tacks and a tack just to hold it in place for right now guys. All right, after getting this bottom thick plate on your license plate bracket tacked into place, let's go ahead and get your end caps and set them up like this guys, and get them where they're supposed to be. Make them look, you don't want any gaps or anything weird, even though we are going to use a grinder at the end to grind a bunch of stuff off this bumper. Get these set up and go ahead and put a good 4 tacks on these, 4 or 5 tacks. There. And we'll catch you in the next step. Alrighty guys, now that you've got your ends tacked on, let's go ahead, and I put a couple tacks right here on this seam. Let's go ahead and take our clamps off. Yep, let's go ahead and take our clamps off of the bumper and go ahead and lay the bumper flat down on the table. Alrighty guys, at this point, go ahead and grab your light buckets. Remember that these tabs go down. And it's your choice. If you guys want to go ahead and tack these in right now and then come back and weld them later, you can. I'm going to go ahead and get them squared up in there, and I'm going to send them. So I will see you guys on the next step. Alrighty guys, so next let's grab these straps that came in your kit along with those other two. Remember we said we'd come back and talk about these. So these go just like this on the very end of your bumper. They're the little back straps. They go just like that. Go ahead and you can A, at this point, tack these on, or B, go ahead and do a full weld on them. I'm going to go ahead and do the full weld on these guys, and we'll catch you in the next step. I've got the buckets already in, welded in place. So we're going to go ahead and weld those straps on both sides real quick. Alright guys, at this point, go ahead, look your bumper over. If you like what you see, if it looks all straight, you've got it all tacked together and it looks like a rear bumper, then go ahead and start running your beads. I started with the license plate, that centerpiece. I haven't decided what I want to do here. I think I'm going to weld it on the back side and leave this nice and flat and straight. Maybe just try to plug those holes off. I haven't decided 100% yet of what I want to do. Then I went over here and I started on this cap. I'm going to do that cap, that cap. I'm going to fill these in. Do not fill those guys in. That's your license plate. Don't fill this in. It's your... This kit did not come with a rear license plate, so I'm going to have to find something and fit in there. You guys are going to do the same thing as well. I don't think anything's changed. I just got this bumper not that long ago. So anyway, once we got the whole shell welded up, then we're going to go ahead and put on our mounting brackets, our D-rings, and I'll show you what these little guys are for. Stay tuned guys, go ahead, weld it up, catch me back here. I'm going to get back to welding myself, and we will catch you in the next part of this bumper build. Alrighty guys, after you get all of your welds done, I want to make sure you get all your welds done at this point. All your welding needs to be done on your shell. We're going to call this the shell now, the bumper. We're going to go back to here, to this corner, and to this corner. And you're going to want to take a grinder, your grindor. You're going to want to grind down your weld here. You want to make this nice and square in here. This one nice and square in here, as you see that I've done there. And then we're going to come over on our workbench here. We're going to grab these two things. Now we're going to be working with these. These go in here like this. And I've got to take a little more weld off right there so that that one will sit in there for me. And this one's going to go over on this side, I'm guessing. Yep, just like that. This one's going to need a little bit more persuasion as well. Yeah, okay. Let me get mine cleaned up a little bit better and we'll bring you back. Alrighty guys, so I just kind of picked a good spot. I measured from here down, came up with 2 3/8 from here to here on both sides. I've got my magnets holding those two pieces in spot. I'm going to go ahead and fire up the welder and tack them in, check them, make sure I like them, and then I'm going to send them. I'll bring you back when I'm done. Alrighty guys, now that you've got those straps on the side of there and there, get out your grinder and your flap disc, and let's go ahead and grind all this down before we mount your back. Before we mount your back, 2 mounts and your D-rings. This is the only 2 steps we have left after you guys grind your shell of your bumper. Grind it all the way down, nice and smooth, because it's easy at this point to flip it back and forth, side to side, whatever you need to do to get the grinder on it. If there's any imperfections in your welds, you can touch those up now, and we'll catch you back when we go ahead and put the back mounting straps on this thing, the mounting brackets on this thing, and finish up with the D-rings. Alright guys, your next step is, do you remember where we welded these 2 halves together right here? You should be able to see a little notch still. If you didn't weld the back side, I put a couple spots on mine, but I measured from right here over and made a mark at 19. I did the same on this side at 19, and then I did a final measurement between these 2 brackets. It should be 38. So I measured this top right here and we're right at just maybe a little over 38. Not very much. Can't even measure it on the stick there. Then we're also going to take a square and square these up. That one's square and this one's square, and I use those triangle squares, the magnets, as well. These two brackets are set in place, guys. Go ahead and weld those to your bumper. Good luck, and we'll catch you on the last and final step in a minute after you get these welded into place. I've got mine set up just like this. Alright guys, last step. After you get your brackets welded on, go ahead and flip the bumper where it's facing you. And I went ahead and found where you want to weld those into the stitches, so you kind of can see where the bleed through was, where you welded the other side. We want to be right on the back side of those welds. And that came out to 6.5 on the money on both sides. Got them all straight where I want them. I put a couple tacks, step back, look at them, make sure that's where you want them. I've got my magnets just kind of checking the 45 here, and I'm going to go ahead and send these guys. I'm going to put them into place, and then we will catch you at the very end of this build. And these should look like that when you're all done. Well, that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in. Big shout out to Absalute Customs for supplying us with the front and the rear bumper. If you want one of these bumpers, drop into the description below. Head on over, check out John's bumpers, John Shield, and tell him I sent you. Another big thank you for John Fox coming down here and hooking us up with that opportunity. Go check out the Fox Shop. His channel's also in the description below. You could probably, this bumper took me about, I'd say, a course of 3 weeks working on it here, there, whenever I could. I bet you could do it in a nice couple evenings on a weekend, or even just in a one night on a weekend if you had a bigger welder than mine. I use flex core wire once again, and it turned out pretty good, guys. Turned out pretty dang good. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna go ahead and load this into the truck, so the next time I head out to Kyle's house, it's already there. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, do so. We've got a bunch of projects, OBS stuff, Ford, 4BT, Cummins, you name it, we've got it here. Anyway, drop a comment down below, hit that like button, and until next time, guys, catch you here on Central Oregon Shenanigans. Have a good one.